Tonight, the World Series of Poker Circuit revisits the gambling capital of the East, Atlantic City. This time it's the Showboat, where 10 players have once again assembled at the final table, but one stands out as the man to beat.
John Juanda is confident, has a lot of guts.
Probably one of the best poker players I've ever played with.
I mean, he plays very well. He's very aggressive.
He just appears to be a great player. I guess I'll find out today.
I'm more competitive than just about anybody you can think of when you win a tournament. It makes you very happy for like quite a while.
These 9 men would love nothing more than to ruin John Juanda's day, but they must contend with his massive chips and his wealth of experience if they hope to become the next World Series of Poker Circuit winner. Welcome to the World Series of Poker presented by Milwaukee's Best Light. This is the Showboat Atlantic City Circuit event.
Let's shuffle up and deal.
2004 main event champion Greg Raymer was given the honor of hosting this event, but the Fossil Man didn't fare too well and was knocked out early in this tournament. Chris Ferguson and Eric Seidel followed suit, as did 84 other players, and now the final 10 are ready to go.
Hello, everybody. Alongside Norman Chad, I'm Lon McCarran. And Norman, we have a very crowded final table here in Atlantic City with 10 players, but there is one clear favorite. His name is John Juanda.
Let me run some numbers by you. 2002 World Series, Juanda won his first bracelet. 2003, 2 more bracelets. 2004, 4 final tables. 2005, he cashed 6 times and was 31st in the main event. And that was an off year. Yeah, I'd say he's the favorite.
And there is John Juanda, the 3-time bracelet winner, is one of the superstars of the game, who's got a pretty good lead on this eclectic table. On the Castrol chip count, Nick Schulman is in second place with over 164,000, and the short stack of our 10 players is Mickey Appleman.
Mickey won his first bracelet in 1980. He's made 21 World Series final tables. Nick Schulman just became the youngest player to win a World Poker Tour title, taking home $2.1 million.
And 78-year-old Julian Studley plays in a home game with Schulman and Appleman in New York City.
Apparently no age minimum or age limit at that home game.
10 here at this table, only 9 will make the money. John Spadavecchia on the Milwaukee's Best Light Pocket Cam. Ace-Jack of Hearts. He's a World Series bracelet winner from '91. Spadavecchia used to play in the old Amarillo Slim Super Bowl of Poker tournaments, and he will come in with 6,000. Chris Reslock gives it up. Dan Shak and John Juanda fold as well. Chad Moore over to Mickey Appleman. Appleman with a suited ace-9. He's a great poker player, but a mediocre golfer. He once bet some friends he could break 100 on a golf course he'd never seen. He holed out a 50-yard shot on the 18th to shoot 99 and won over $600,000.
See, that's clutch.
Indeed, but he's going to need some clutch help here, going all in with just ace-9. 3,800 chips. Spadavecchia has put Mickey Appleman all in, and so we'll have a battle here, heads up, between 2 World Series bracelet winners.
And Mickey should call 911, but I don't think they'd get here in time. Mickey in a whole lot of trouble as we go to the flop. He's dominated.
So Spadavecchia with the advantage. Mickey Appleman looking for an exit door.
And Mickey, as you mentioned, Lon, a legendary New York high-stakes gambler, sports handicapper, and bon vivant.
And here's the flop. Spadavecchia gets a jack.
Oh, man, it could be worse than that. There are 2 running diamonds on you.
Mickey's going to need...
That's about the only chance to chop it.
Runner diamonds, runner straight, runner 9s.
10 of diamonds.
Frankly, Mickey needs help.
All right, here we go with the turn card.
10 of diamonds is better.
Appleman in trouble. He's going to need help on the turn, or he is gone. And it is a 7 of clubs. That will do it. No help for Mickey Appleman. Going to the river, and the 4-time bracelet winner is eliminated in 10th place. Appleman will finish with no money, a long tournament, and then to get to the final table and go away with zip, that is a tough week.
How'd you do on the machines last night? How'd you do?
I won 95,000.
Juanda won almost 100,000 on video poker last night.
95,000 playing video poker?
The one I told you to play, right?
That's funny.
We played just to get the free drink.
What, they got no limit hold'em of video poker now? Did Juanda pick up a tell on the machine?
He says it's all about the math. Dan Shak says he's never finished a tournament higher than 9th, and that's his goal today.
And he'd also like to trump his wife, Beth, who finished 8th at the ladies' event in the 2005 World Series.
But Dan folds those cards. John Juanda finished 31st in the 2005 main event. Now he's got pocket tens. John, you have to figure, is the captain of this table. He's going to raise it up to 6,000.
John was part of the original old crew with Daniel Negreanu, Phil Ivey, and Alan Cunningham.
Action around the table to John Spadavecchia. And ace-jack. Spadavecchia from the old poker school.
6 or 5?
For you, 5. 5 for you. Because you have 1 in already.
Juanda telling him it's a bargain. He's in the small blind.
For me, 5, right? Okay.
Spadavecchia will make the call of Juanda's raise.
I'm in for free.
Juanda with a little Dave Chappelle in him today.
Chris Reslock folds.
Hey, the luckiest John win this one.
Two Johns going to the flop. And Spadavecchia again flops jacks.
And he looks like he is the luckier John this time.
And he comes out with 20,000. Getting serious all of a sudden.
You got it, huh?
Now you know which John is lucky.
I know. Must have like ace-jack or something.
How does he know he has ace-jack?
I'll let you win.
That is one very smart John.
Good one, John.
That's it.
Spadavecchia takes the pot.
You're good, man. You're very good.
Did I make a good lay down? Don't lie, because we're going to be able to see it on.
You made a good lay down. I
Okay.
know what you do.
I don't like to make good lay downs, really. I like to win.
No, sometimes what you lay down is what you make you win the tournament.
John Juanda lost the hand, but he sure seems to know what everyone else is up to.
The 2006 World Series of Poker is presented by Milwaukee's Best Light, brewed for a man's taste, Miller Brewing Company, and in part by Harris Entertainment, home of the world's richest poker tournament. The World Series of Poker presented by Milwaukee's Best Light.
Back inside the Showboat, and same old for Dan Shak from Pennsylvania. Another 9th place finish. John Juanda did the deed with a full house, kings over aces. Dan Shak's thinking, I can't believe I finished 9th again.
And Juanda's thinking, I believe that's the 8,632nd person I've knocked out in my career.
And Dan will go over and get some consolation and no doubt some poker tips from his wife, Beth, as they leave the building. So 8 left, and a local amateur from New Jersey, Eric Panayotou, born in Cyprus, one of 5 players at this final table who was born outside of the United States.
U.S. Customs is not doing its job.
Reslock with pocket aces, and he's going to raise it up to 6,000. His wife, Joy, there on the right, a good stud high-low player. They live here in Atlantic City and play quite a bit in this town. Now, Nick Schulman. Schulman squeezing his pocket cards, queen of spades and a king of spades.
And Schulman thinking how to play this one, or maybe thinking, I probably can start shaving in the next year or two.
Schulman will make the call from the small blind. And now we'll go heads up Reslock with the aces and the king, queen of spades for Schulman. And here's our flop. It's 7, 10, 4, 1 spade in there, but nothing else for Schulman.
Schulman touted as perhaps poker's next big superstar. Started playing seriously online when he was 17, and he's a prodigy of sorts. He has some great instincts.
And now Schulman's going to raise it up. He goes to 40,000.
And look, there's a check raise from this kid. Probably started with an Uno deck when he was in the crib, and now look what he can do with a poker deck.
And that gives Chris Reslock pause for thought.
I'm on.
Well, okay. He was figuring how to say all in.
Huh? See? It's time to get your bike, your books, and your toys and pedal home, son. And you were told not to hang out with these people anyway.
Schulman giving it some thought, but it looks like he's folding his tent. And indeed, Chris Reslock will take the pot and add to his chip stack. Schulman says goodbye to 40,000 of his chips, but he knows that's part of the game. He's still learning, though, how to handle the attention that came with his recent $2 million payday.
I've never been as stressed as I've been the last few months. I'm getting like phone calls to do interviews and stuff like that. And it's all happened so fast, and now it's just very, very scary. You I never thought I'd actually start doing well in tournaments right away. I was playing the best I could possibly play, and everything came together that tournament. Poker is such a streaky game. I've just seen it too many times over the last couple of years, and when a guy wins one or two tournaments, he's automatically labeled like, a fantastic player. And I think I play well, but it takes time to really prove that you're a great player, because anyone can win one tournament. So I'd like to show that I'm like a great player.
Before poker, Nick says he used to shoot pool professionally. I guess that would have been in the 3rd or 4th grade.
Nick's family in attendance, his brother Zach on the right, his mom Gina, and dad Bob, making sure he doesn't stay up too late here in Atlantic City. And we continue with 8 players. John Juanda is still our chip leader, $335,000 to the winner of this Showboat event here in Atlantic City. Chris Reslock, who has been very busy at this final table. Ace-4 offsuit. Reslock is a local cab driver who is semi-retired. He'll raise it up to $7,000. On Nick Schulman, he folds over to Julian Studley, 78 years old, born in Brussels, Belgium. Pocket 8s, and he moves all in with his final $17,100.
This is embarrassing.
That means I'm calling you without much.
And Reslock will make the call. Reslock has the ace, Studley with the pocket 8s.
Reslock stands up, and Studley says, I'm not going anywhere.
Good luck, sir.
So Chris Reslock with a chance to knock off a player and up his own stock here at the final table, and the flop is 7-10 ace. Reslock pairs his ace and puts Studley in some hot water.
9 of clubs, make it exciting.
The guy in the taxi cab business has outflopped the guy in the real estate business. Studley is in trouble.
Queen on the turn, no help for Julian Studley. 1 card left to come.
And Studley says, I know where this is going, so I might as well save a little time getting out of here.
Now the 9 of clubs.
Studley needs an 8 and an 8 only to stay alive in this tournament.
And it's a jack, and Julian Studley is gone. Chris Reslock wins the hand. Julian Studley will go away in 8th place and collect a check for just over $37,000.
So Appleman gone, Studley gone. Nick's wondering if they're going to start the home game without him.
And Chris Reslock picks up some more chips and gains some more ground on our chip leader, John Juanda, here at the final table at the Showboat. Chris Ferguson and tournaments go hand in hand, and the World Series of Poker circuits have been very good to him. Last year, he made 2 final tables, including a win at Rincon. Yes! Yes! And Chris Ferguson is your champion. So it was no surprise to see the familiar hat, glasses, and hair sitting at the final table when the World Series circuit event hit Harrah's Las Vegas casino. Before long, Chad Lane found himself heads up against Jesus and his dominating chip stack. Lane put up a good fight, but in the end, it was business as usual for Jesus, and he walked away with a top prize, becoming the first to win Circuit Championship ring number 2. Okay, back at the circuit event in Atlantic City, where the blinds are 1,500 and 3,000. 7 players still in the hunt for the top prize of $335,000. John Spadavecchia with ace-10 suited in spades. And he's going to raise it up to $7,000. Chris Reslock will fold.
Juanda's always wanted to go to med school. I don't get that. If you're a doctor, sure, you get to save lives. But if you're a poker player, you get to make other people miserable in their poker lives. It's a higher calling, I believe.
Juanda will re-raise it to $22,000 with pocket kings. Moore and Schulman will fold. The action back to Spadavecchia. And he will quickly make the call with his ace-10 suited.
My hat's off to Spadavecchia, Lon. I can't wear a jacket like that.
Here comes our flop. Juanda in the lead. It's 8-6-9, a straight draw for Spadavecchia. When Spadavecchia finished 3rd in the main event in 1994, he won $294,000. He'd love to finish 3rd these days when he'd take home millions. Spadavecchia checked. Juanda comes out with $50,000.
He likes his pocket kings against that board. Spadavecchia complimented Juanda earlier on a nice laydown. Let's see if Juanda will be able to compliment Spadavecchia here for a nice laydown.
Spadavecchia Gives it up, so Juanda gets the wily veteran to back down, but Juanda has been doing that for many years. He has quietly solidified himself as one of poker's truly talented superstars.
John Juanda, he's the guy to watch out for. He only cares about first place.
If you've been following poker at all, you know I've been doing really well for so many years.
He's just nasty, that guy. He's just like relentless.
He's an animal. John Juanda's the man.
I don't know what you got, but I'm gonna bet all in.
This is just a stunning move by Juanda.
When I play, I just like to let my play do the talking instead of my mouth.
Juanda's pair of eights wins the hand.
I just refuse to believe in luck or something that I cannot control. I usually catch more hands than most people, but there's a reason to it. It's because I usually play better, so I end up lasting longer in the tournament. I have always been a believer that I am in control of my luck. If I play better, I'm more focused, more prepared, then the luckier I am.
He makes his own luck, Lon. Like Chris Ferguson, he has a great understanding of tournament strategy, is incredibly even-keeled, and Juanda's just not going to beat himself.
Right now, it will take a lot to beat John Juanda, still the commanding chip leader at this final table. We continue with Eric Panayotou with pocket eights. And the Cypriot is going to raise it up to 11,000 with those eights. He lives in New Jersey now. Dan Tolley will fold. Spadavecchia folds, now to Chris Reslock, ace-5.
Reslock's a compulsive reader. He reads everything he can get his hands on.
Do you think he's read your book, Hold On Honey, I'll Take You to the Hospital at Halftime, published by Atlantic Monthly Press?
No.
I'm all in.
Reslock moves all in with his ace-5 offsuit. Panayotou will be at risk, but he's got the lead.
Well, you beat the eights last time with that.
Oh, same hand.
Chris Reslock with an ace-4 knocked out Julian Studley, who was holding pocket eights earlier.
Just give me 2 eights and I'm done.
Give him an 8. Give me the 3-4 diamonds.
Putting their orders in for the dealer. Chris Reslock, the local hero, trying to make them all proud.
I am a dog.
No, that's not very good.
Kiss him. I think everybody's a dog.
Reslock's been running good. The others have wanted to run away from him.
Now the flop. 9, ace, 10. Reslock catches the ace again.
You faulted an ace.
It's not over yet.
It ain't over yet. Come on. Everyone says it's not over yet. I don't believe any of them. It's over.
Panayotou at danger of being eliminated from this Showboat Circuit event. Reslock with a commanding lead as we go to the turn. And now the turn card is a deuce, no help to Panayotou.
Reslock now a 19-1 favorite. Panayotou is going to need an 8 or he'll be wamboozled.
Now the river card is a 7, and that will send Eric Panayotou to the rail in 7th place. He'll take home over $46,000. Chris Reslock takes down another pot. He takes down another player. Maybe something to be said about this home cooking and home court advantage in Atlantic City. That, of course, is Greg Raymer, main event champion 2004 and host of this circuit event. He'll be awarding the coveted ring and money to the winner. Here's how our final table is shaping up right now. John Juanda leads, but Chris Reslock is making a race of it. John Spadavecchia is the short stack.
John, how do you pronounce your name? Trying to pronounce it like
The first name or the last name?
The last name.
Juanda.
Okay.
He doesn't know how to say Juanda?
Most people get it wrong the first time. Yeah. It's like sex. You have to try it more time and you get better.
Did John Juanda just say that?
Yes, and I thought he'd be talking about global warming.
John Juanda has relocated to Las Vegas to be closer to his future money. And Chris Reslock will fold this hand. On the Milwaukee's Best Light Pocket Cam, Juanda has Queen of Hearts, Jack of Diamonds. And he's going to raise it up to 9,000. Chad Moore has been quiet and card dead. And that's why. 7 deuce offsuit into the muck. Next in line is Nick Schulman.
Lana, I've just been handed a note for Nick Schulman. Cindy Stormer in algebra class thinks he's pretty cute and would like to take him to the Sadie Hawkins dance Friday night.
He'll have time. He's folding here, so maybe he can respond. There's Dan Tolley in the Air Force Reserve. He's a pilot. His dad was in the Air Force. He was born in Japan. Jack 10 offsuit, and he will call the raise from Juanda. A wink? Oh, wink back.
I'm making a note of that.
So Juanda and Tolley strolling to the flop. It's Jack 9-5, a jack for both, but Juanda's queen kicker is best.
See, when both players make top pair, there's no more winking.
Tolley checks to John Juanda, our chip leader. And Juanda looking to act. And no, not that much. Just this much. 15,000 from Juanda. Tolley, the second short stack at this final table when the hand began, raises it up to 45,000.
That's what you get for winking at him earlier.
Juanda is reaching double-fisted, re-raising enough to put Tolley all in.
That's what Tolley gets for winking back at him. See, it's personal now. Well, more than half of Tolley's chips that he started the hand with are already in the pot.
I'm all in.
And Tolley will take the bait, and he will move all in. He puts his final 49,100 chips in the pot. A good chance for Juanda to lengthen his chip lead here.
Juanda usually doesn't talk much at the table. He lets his cards do the talking, and right now his cards are speaking loud and clear.
All right, Tolley all in. Here we go.
Tolley dominated because of Juanda's kicker.
And now Tolley sees the bad news and acknowledges that he is in a lot of trouble. Juanda has been a force at this final table, a chance to knock off Tolley. Here's the turn card. It's a king. Tolley with a straight draw.
So Tolley still with some possibilities. Actually, a 9 or a 5 on the river, and there'd be a split pot. Or a queen would make him a straight, and he would take the whole pot.
Now the river card, it's a king. Juanda eliminates Dan Tolley in 6th place. Tolley will take home almost $56,000 for his efforts here at the Showboat in Atlantic City. John Juanda will absorb 100,000 more chips, and that'll make him even more dangerous.
And it all started with a wink.
Indeed, an unusual move from the usually stoic John Juanda, who's known on the circuit for his poker face. So what is the art of the poker face? We find out in this edition of The Nuts. It's often said when you sit down at the poker table, you better have a little bit of luck.
For a heart.
A lot of skill. And a good poker face. But what distinguishes a good poker face from a bad one?
Don't show no feelings about anything. You don't change your features. You don't smile. You don't raise your eyebrows. You don't touch your face. That's having a poker face.
So that twitch of the mouth, that scratch of the nose, that hand through the hair might be giving away just a little too much information. And when it comes to a great poker face, the secret is all in the eyes.
I pretty much just stare a person right in the face.
Look at him straight in the eye and don't blink.
I have that like blank stare. One of my friends said to me, man, you look like a crackhead on TV because my eyes are all over the place. I'm looking all around, you know. When I seen it for the first time, I started laughing.
What are you looking at?
But not everyone falls victim to the power of the stare down.
You know, baby, stare down is stupid. When people stare me down, I kind of go like this, like, what are you doing? You look like a weirdo. Stop looking at me. What, do I have, like, spinach in my teeth? I mean, what's with you?
Yes, some feel that poker doesn't have to be so serious.
I do try to make fun on the table. Because you're so funny.
I make more funs and joke around, and it's not like other people just go like this.
So just how valuable is a player's facial expression to success at the poker table?
The truth is, the great players are the great players because they read situations well. They're basing their decisions more along what you're capable of than some silly facial tick. Everyone says, well, I can't play poker. I don't have a good poker face. You don't need a good poker face. You can just go like this.
I have a great poker face, Lon, because nobody wants to look at it.
Exactly. All right, we continue with 5 players at this final table. Atlantic City at the Showboat. Chris Reslock with chip leader after days 1 and 2 of this 4-day event. Raises it up to 10,000 with ace-king.
And when Reslock's had an ace in his hand today, you don't want to mess with him.
Now John Spadavecchia, born in southern Italy, is moving all in with his ace and 7. 54,500. Spadavecchia putting everything he's got in the pot. Over to Chris Reslock now.
I call.
And so Reslock calls. This is our degree all-in moment. Spadavecchia at risk. Reslock with a chance to claim his third victim.
And once again, Reslock's ace is going to serve him well. He has Spadavecchia dominated.
7's my lucky number. Does that mean I'm in trouble?
Buddy, you haven't been in trouble all day long.
Indeed.
You're in good shape.
Reslock has been running good. Here's the flop. 5, deuce, 4, 2 spades for Spadavecchia. We'll draw for both.
This is Spadavecchia's third circuit final table, but he's getting closer and closer to exiting.
Reslock calling for red cards, and he got a 5 of diamonds. His ace-king still in the lead.
Still a lot of ways Spadavecchia can stay alive. A 2 or 4 gives them both 2 pair with an ace kicker. A 3 gives them both a wheel, and a 7 gives Spadavecchia the whole pot. Otherwise, he's done.
He is done. So Chris Reslock collects the degree check mark, eliminating John Spadavecchia in 5th place. He'll take home over $65,000. Reslock knocks off his third player at this final table.
The Degree All-In Moment is brought to you by Degree for Men. Protects men who take risks.
Welcome back to the World Series of Poker, presented by Milwaukee's Best Light here at the Showboat Circuit event. On the Castrol chip count, John Juanda is still our chip leader.
And I'm going to go out on a limb and take Juanda. Nick, let's go get a Slurpee.
Chris Reslock in second place, taxi owner and operator, but more and more his world is poker. 4-3, offsuit, no ace in there.
He's in the small blind.
And he'll make the call of the big blind to John Juanda, born in Indonesia. Juanda with ace-8 of hearts in the big blind. Checks his option, so the 2 top stacks will go heads up.
With an ace, that's usually a raising position with the small blind limping in, but Juanda plays it differently this time. You got to mix it up. That's how I got to where I am.
That's scary. Here's our flop 6. Ace-Jack. Juanda turns the tables on Reslock, and it's Juanda who flops the ace.
Reslock will be the first to act.
And he will act with 10,000.
Well, Reslock with that ugly 4-3 is going to see if he can buy it right here.
Juanda will just flat call here.
And Juanda actually still disguising his hand with that call.
Now the turn card is a 4, a pair of 4s for Reslock. You'll like to see that. He checks, though.
Juanda can't be threatened by anything out there, but he decides to check.
River is another ace, trip aces, and the check mark for John Juanda. Juanda checks to make sure he's got the other ace. Yeah, he's got all 3.
You remember if he had an ace?
Yeah, maybe he didn't remember if he had an ace. I don't see Juanda do that too often.
Reslock to act first. He's got aces up, and he'll bet 15,000.
The way Juanda's played it, there's no reason for Reslock to think John has an ace in his hand.
Juanda now will react, and he raises it to 45,000. Yeah, I got the ace, Reslock.
And now Reslock's saying to himself, I didn't have to play 4-3 offsuit from the small blind, did I?
Wow, but look at that. Reslock makes the call.
You really forgot?
And Reslock will have to relinquish his chips.
I had a little piece.
Juanda confounding Reslock in that hand and to his benefit.
So John Juanda got the best of Chris Reslock in that poker hand, but there is one game at which Reslock would certainly consider himself superior to most people.
At one time, I was a very highly ranked Scrabble player. Actually, I was number 1. I used to travel to tournaments all over the country. I was very aggressive. I had a pretty wide vocabulary and a really good memory for how words were spelled. You're always thinking several moves ahead. There's a lot of math in the game, but it's intuitive, just like poker. Bluffing is a big part of both games, but once you get into the upper echelons of Scrabble, there are too many people that know almost every word, but once in a while you can get away with something. When I was an active tournament player, I played some of the best players in the world in side games, always for a little money. Big reason of poker players, they pay you more money to play poker.
You know, Norman, a huge part of a successful Scrabble player's practice time is used to anagram words. I anagram your name. It came out to corn and ham.
And your name?
He cancel Norm.
Good for you.
Back to our action at the final table. Four-handed. John Juanda's cards of Queen Jack go into the muck. Chris Reslock is already in the hand with an ace-8 offsuit. Raised it up to 10,000. Now to Nick Schulman.
I've had fun with the kid, Lon, but the boy can play.
Usually a very aggressive player. Has been known to play 24-hour poker sessions online in a row. Schulman and Reslock to the flop. Ace 8-3. Reslock pairs his ace again and his other hole card.
Schulman checks.
Schulman got a straight draw, and Reslock will come out with 10,000. Back on Young.
Oh.
Nick Schulman to make the call.
Oh, he either knows he's going to hit that straight or he's setting up a bluff down the road.
Turn card is at 10, misses Schulman. Reslock still leads.
You know, I think Nick has to be home by 11 o'clock tonight. He has band practice in the morning.
A check from Schulman.
We saw Reslock bet 10,000 on the flop. He's trying to figure out how much he can bet here, in which he might get a call from Nick.
He's figuring on 35,000.
I think that's a little too much.
Nick Schulman will just... Wow!
Wow is right.
How's that? Almost 100,000 on a draw from Schulman. Does he have a bigger game to go to?
Can I look at Nick's cards again? We might have misread them. Are you kidding me?
Call.
And Reslock will make the call.
And a sheepish look from Boy Wonder.
Absolutely. So Reslock with two pair in command with just one card to come on the river.
Nick turns his cards over. Oops. Well, you know, the kid made a play line. It didn't work. Hey, you raised him. It's your fault.
Gina Schulman feeling her son's pain.
Schulman's got a 4-outer. He needs a 2 and a 2 only.
And the river is a 9. No straight for Schulman. Reslock's ace is up, takes the pot, and eliminates young Schulman in fourth place. He'll take home over $74,000. No allowance this week.
I'm not stacking these. There are just too many of them.
Hire Nick to stack them. He needs an after-school job.
Yes.
Well, that's a lot of chips over there.
Over 400,000.
Stack them yourself.
That's a nice problem to have three-handed at a final table.
The World Series of Poker presented by Milwaukee's Best Light.
Welcome back to the circuit event at the Showboat. Chad Moore has moved all in with his pocket sevens. Chris Reslock has him covered and called him with his pocket jacks.
No, sir. No, sir.
Moore, a former poker dealer, has been dealt nothing all day.
And here we go to the flop. It is 10, 8, 9. Both pick up a straight draw, but Moore doesn't like what he sees.
A little scary.
Indeed, now a 7 would give Chris Reslock a straight.
Deuces. Deuces and threes.
Reslock says, keep it low. Chad Moore needs some help right now or in danger of going out in third place. It's a 3, no help for Moore on the turn.
And Moore's position just worsening by the moment.
Reslock has been mowing down this final table.
Chad Moore looking for a straight. He needs a jack or a 6 or his day is done.
Now the river card is a 5, and there he goes. Chris Reslock knocks off his third straight player, 5th overall. Chad Moore, who cashed 4 times at the 2005 World Series, will take home over $102,000 here, going back to Indiana after a tough day at this final table.
That's the biggest hand I had all day.
So Moore goes out in third. Joy Reslock seems relieved. Her husband has had the support of this hometown crowd all day, and he's going to need all the help he can get facing such an imposing figure as John Juanda heads up for the title.
Once you become seasoned, you can play a lot more aggressively. You don't live and die with every hand, and that's an edge that John, of course, has.
I think I may be the most experienced player. I'm confident, so I think I'll have the best chance to win the tournament.
I'm a good player. I'm focused. I feel pretty confident.
I like my chances.
So So here we go, heads up, John Juanda, as he has been all day, in the lead.
And there are no sure things, Lon, but John Juanda heads up with a chip lead against a cab driver. I'm going to go out on a limb again and back the three-time World Series bracelet winner.
Juanda with a 6-5 offsuit is going to raise it up. He goes to 12-5. Back at you, Chris Reslock.
He's a nice cab driver, and he's here from Atlantic City, and you got to root for him. But he's up against a monster of a pro.
Reslock will make the call, and Reslock will have the advantage with the 9 high. This matchup was destined to be Juanda leading the final table all day. Reslock right on his bumper. And here we go, 6-3-7. Reslock secures the lead on the flop, pairing his 7.
Juanda did pair his 6 and picked up a gut shot straight draw.
Reslock first to act with 15,000 chips. Any pair, as we mentioned a lot of times, and heads up is good. Juanda has a pair of 6s.
And when you make any pair on the flop, you actually often raise in heads up.
And Juanda will make the call. So Reslock in the lead going to the turn. And Reslock now with 2 pair 9s and 7s and a 3-1 advantage.
Juanda now can make a straight 2 different ways, but Reslock's got the best hand and he bets.
Turns up the heat with 35,000 now.
I'm not sure what's running through Juanda's mind. I can't possibly know. He's smarter than me. But I imagine right now he might be thinking of maybe to call here to bluff the pot on the river, or maybe he's put Reslock on a couple of over cards, so it's possible that John's 6s are good and he still could hit the straight.
Juanda has 3 World Series bracelets, none in No Limit Hold'em, and he makes the call here. So he'll go to the river needing a lot of help.
Reslock in great position, as you said, more than a 3-1 advantage as we go to the river.
And the final card. Oh, another 6, and Juanda now with unbeatable trip 6s.
That's a pretty good card for John Juanda.
That's why he stayed in the hand.
And that's a smart check. How does he know he's beat? I would have value bet there and had my value handed back to me on a platter.
Reslock checks to Juanda, as you say. Juanda with 120,000 chips. There's a message.
Can Reslock get away from this hand?
2 pair. Reslock is reaching.
I called you.
And he makes the call.
John shows 5-6.
And Juanda shows his trip 6s. And yes, the 2 pair are no good.
Juanda, like some stiff off the street, gets lucky on the amateur.
So John Juanda takes down the biggest pot of this tournament, 366,000 chips, and continues his domination at this final table at the Showboat.
The 2006 World Series of Poker is presented by Milwaukee's Best Light, brewed for a man's taste, Miller Brewing Company, and in part by Harris Entertainment, home of the world's richest poker tournament.
Welcome back to this World Series of Poker presented by Milwaukee's Best Light at the Showboat Circuit event. John Juanda is still in the lead. He and Reslock did all the heavy lifting today. These two combined to knock off all the other players on their way to this heads-up battle, and aces for Reslock.
Geez, the deck has been hitting Reslock with aces all day.
Jacks for John Juanda. Wow. Reslock raised it up to 18,000. Now Juanda with his jacks is going to re-raise to 60,000.
And Juanda opens that door that always leads to the scary scene in the horror movie.
Oh, we talked about any pair being good and heads up, but jacks against aces, this could be a thriller.
Reslock's got to decide how slow or fast he wants to play these aces.
Medium speed, 80,000. He raises to 80.
All in.
And Juanda is going to push.
You got me covered, right? I call.
And, of course, Reslock calls with his aces. Nothing can beat him pre-flop. And there you see it. Now we got Reslock all in with the advantage with his aces. Juanda with his jacks.
Keep it red.
Juanda picking up those jacks at the wrong time, Lon.
All right, we go to our flop.
It's okay, I got John Juanda.
Oh, no.
JJ.
Keep the flop red.
Come on, no jack.
Oh, don't even mention that word. Ace, 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 ace.
Watch this. Jack, 5, 4.
Can't be no jacks if he keeps it small and red.
All right, Reslock's aces versus Juanda's jacks, and here we go. Oh my, jack, ace, 4. They both match their hole cards.
I saw the jack first.
And Juanda asked for jack 5-4. So close, yet so far.
There's one jack left in the deck.
Can only hope.
Reslock's set of aces got Juanda's set of jacks in deep doo-doo.
Now the turn card. It's paint, but it's a king, and Reslock keeps his advantage.
Whether he has started with 1 ace or 2 aces today, every time they have been good to him. Juanda can only stand and wait. Reslock sitting pretty, but Juanda can still take this championship home right now with the case jack.
It's a 10, and Reslock doubles up. Finally gets to John Juanda. Team Reslock celebrates. Their main man takes a big chip lead now at this final table.
And Juanda maybe thinking about getting a cab ride from Reslock and maybe stiffing him on the fair.
What a hand. Aces versus jacks. They both flopped a set, but in the end, Chris Reslock won the hand. He's got a commanding chip lead right now and all the momentum.
He lost more. He lost all his chips almost. Where's he got? 100, 200, 300,000 left?
Juanda not one to push the panic button, but he's got to be a little disturbed that he can't shake Reslock. Now he's fallen behind Reslock. Reslock is just an amateur, but he does play big cash games here in Atlantic City, as does his wife, Joy.
Juanda fold his cards and we'll get a new deal. Well, Reslock is not in an unusual position. We have seen a lot of amateurs take down big titles, and they are just all over this game, aren't they?
They're the reason that card rooms never close.
Chris Reslock with King 7 suited in diamonds. He's going to raise it up to 18,000. You see Greg Raymer, our host, in the background there. John Juanda, Ace King. Gotta like that. And it's a re-raise from Juanda up to 60,000 now.
Back to Reslock. And King 7 suited, and you are favored against any random 2 cards. Unfortunately, Ace King would not be one of those hands that you're favored against.
Reslock trying to put Juanda on a hand. And indeed, he will make the call. So Juanda likes that. Now we go to the flop. It's 3, 6, 7. Reslock takes the lead with a pair of 7s again.
Plus Reslock picks up a flush draw.
Juanda first to act, though. And he puts out 65,000 chips.
And Juanda, just with the ace high, missed that flop completely, but he's trying to push out Reslock right now. And I don't think Reslock's going to cooperate with top pair and the diamond flush draw.
Raise.
Reslock says raise. It's 200,000 back to John Juanda.
Reslock does the right thing there. And Juanda's thinking about this one. I'm not sure why, Lon. He obviously needs to get away from this hand, and I don't think it's too tough to do just that. Juanda had bluffed at the pot. His opponent came back over the top of him. And it's time now to cut your losses if you're John Juanda.
Does he believe the amateur is strong?
All right, I'm all in.
Juanda is going to come over the top.
That I did not expect. And this isn't necessarily the easiest call for Reslock. Juanda might have slow played a big pair in the hole.
I should have raised more, but I'm pot committed. I call.
Reslock will make the call with a chance to win this title.
You got me.
All in on a call.
I'm throwing that.
And I'm very surprised, Lon,
well,
because
it ain't over
Juanda
yet.
knows he can in the long haul. And John's got enough chips left, so why put them all in the middle right now when he just got ace high, and your read on your opponent might be wrong.
Chris Reslock has flopped the best hand.
Small and red. Small and red.
Aces have been very kind to Reslock today, but now an ace is the last card he wants to see. And despite what Juanda said, he is not drawing dead yet.
Yep. Very bad shape.
Bad shape is close to drawing dead.
Small and red, small and red, small and red.
All right, let's see the turn. Reslock trying to start up a chant here with the hometown crowd. Here's the turn card. It is a 6, no help to John Juanda.
Yeah, thumbs up, it was small and red.
Small and red. Small and red.
Small and red, the Chris Reslock story coming to a theater near you soon. Juanda will need an ace and an ace only, or Reslock will be our champion.
Here's the river card. Small and black works too. Chris Reslock is your champion at the Showboat in Atlantic City.
Boy, stuff happens.
Boy, John Juanda had the lead the whole way, but he finishes in second place.
I can't believe I beat you in a heads-up match.
Score one more for the amateurs.
I hope you get a rematch sometime.
Congratulations. Played really well.
So Chris Reslock surprises everyone, especially John Juanda.
I have to tip my hat off to Chris. I thought I was just gonna cruise into victory. I definitely underestimated him a little bit.
And for Reslock, a victory at home is all the sweeter.
I feel good. I like Atlantic City a lot, and if this is good for Atlantic City, I'm very happy about it.
Chris Reslock brought pride to his hometown.
Cheers for a champion.
And $335,000 to his wallet. Certainly this taxi driver's biggest fare yet. For Norman Chet, I'm Lon McCarran. So long, everybody.